love Pikmin 3, it's a fantastic game, but what I love more is Pikmin 3 challenge runs. I've always wanted to do my own Pikmin challenge run after watching many others, but I want something that'll be really hard for me because, well, it's a challenge. Minimum Pikmin is the challenge that came to mind, but it's already been done by Cow Food Yum. I fucking love that username. But the thing is, I want to do it better. It took him 17 days to beat Pikmin 3 with only 42 Pikmin, which really isn't that bad. But I'm going to do it in 7 days, and with even less Pikmin on the end results screen than they did. So, how do you beat Pikmin 3 with 42 Pikmin? Well, you start with 20 red Pikmin from the Tropical Wilds on day 1, then 6 rock Pikmin from the Garden of Hope, 5 yellow Pikmin from the Distant Tundra, turning 15 reds into yellows, then you gather 10 winged Pikmin from the Twilight River, and finally 1 blue Pikmin from the Garden of Hope. That's 42 Pikmin. But, how can I lower that number even more? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I have absolutely no idea. But it can't be that hard, right? Starting with day 1, nothing much is different. Yes, there are 30 yellows in the tutorial, but they don't count towards the end results screen, so they don't count to me. And plus, the goal is to get the lowest number on the results screen anyways. But even there, nothing much is different. Just finish the controls tutorial, have Charlie get Vor, build a bridge, get 20 tiny little plant dudes, and realize Brittany is fucking dying! In a normal playthrough of this area, we build a bridge to get across to this rock Pikmin cave, then we save Brittany using rocks, head back to the other side, and solve a puzzle with both captains. And after that, we can go ahead and defeat the armored Maudad. But day 2 is when it starts to get a little interesting. Here, we break into our inner speedrunner with some multitasking to save as much time as possible. Then, we find the Medusal Slurker, save our 6 rock-headed sentient minions, grab this Sunseed Berry, bash them into this wall, and this wall too, and save Brittany. With Brittany in tow, we can continue on to bash more rock-headed creatures into walls. After all that head bashing, which there will be plenty more of later, except with my head into my keyboard, we can unlock the Go Here function, which is basically God. And then we continue on to a 2-captain puzzle. This puzzle is simple. Just toss one captain to the other side, build a bridge, and we are Gucci. Now we get to go to our first boss fight. Armored Maudad. Yeah, he's a joke. Just hit his tail 10 times with rock Pikmin and then charge reds onto his tail for maximum damage. After that gruelingly painful hard fight, we can take back the Data Glutton to base. While calling this ancient relic of a phone a Data Glutton is a bit of a stretch, but I digress. After the extravagation, we can end the day and continue on to day 3 with 26 Pikmin total. On day 3, we visit the Distant Tundra. Normally what happens is Alf shows off his fantastic piloting skills, and then we have to get 20 yellow Pikmin to help Brittany out of this cave. After, we need to find scattered bridge parts to help reunite Alf and Brittany, then we can continue on and explore and find the Behemoth Fosbat. But that's too slow, and I'm a speedrunner. Slow is not in the name. 20 yellow Pikmin is too much for me anyways. I'm terrified of these little shits, like look at them! So we're gonna pull out our first speedrun skip using the yellow onion skip. After freeing the yellow onion, we can run up this wall, get up over here, run around these 2 roots, and walk into this loading zone. Seems easy, right? Well, that's if you're on the Switch version, because on the Wii U, this is absolute abysmal fucking hell. The camera just moves itself wherever the fuck it wants, the trick is already incredibly tight and hard, and this trick has caused so much mental damage and PTSD for me to do it one more goddamn time on this godforsaken version of the game.
Are you fucking with me right now?
For the record, I had to get this trick around 12 times because of testing different theories. Yeah, I hate myself. Is this a skill issue? Yes. Do I care? No. Now with that out of the way, we can continue on with our 5 Pikmin instead of 20. That's a good start. But we need 20 yellows to defeat the Behemoth Fosbat. How are we going to do this boss fight? Well, I'll get to that later. For now, let's toss our yellows off towards Alf and do our second speedrunning skip, Special Delivery. I'm not kidding, that's actually what it's called. It's quite simple. Just use this visual lineup to position the snitch bug, and use another visual lineup so when he grabs you, he'll go over the sledge. And then shake your nunchuck when he's at his apex and you'll land right on the sledge. Then with walking up against this root at a good angle, you can clip through and get out. Then you can walk around, get through this water, and fall right here in this specific spot. Once you fall out of bounds, you'll land by this bag, which is right next to the Fozbat arena. With that, we save so much time by skipping building the bridge, skipping all the exploring, and just ending up next to the bag where the Behemoth Fozbat room is. Since you still can't whistle Alf, and we kinda need him, we will need to charge our Pikmin towards this crystal, and then we can perform a long whistle trick by whistling the Pikmin using Brittany, and then walking into the loading zone which teleports the Pikmin to Brittany. Next, we can candy pop some red Pikmin into yellows, and then trigger the cutscene where you first interact the Fozbat. This will make it so that way you can whistle Alf, so you can head back, get Alf, and now we can start the Fozbat fight. Normally what you're supposed to do is build a bridge to get to the giant car battery, lighting it up with 20 yellows so we can expose the Fozbat, which lets you attack him. But that takes a while. So instead what I opted to do is to toss a captain onto this ledge so we can skip the bridge, and after you toss a few Pikmin onto this ledge, and then we can go ahead and light up the room, which makes the Fozbat vulnerable. Afterwards, we can finish off the fight and end the day, letting us finish the Distant Tundra with 31 Pikmin. But this is just so many Pikmin. Can we possibly lower it? My first idea was to see what happens when I kill the 5 yellow Pikmin the game gives to you. Believe it or not, they died. Yeah, I don't really know what I was expecting with this one, but I was thinking maybe skipping the yellow onion would make them not count somehow? Wait. What if we can skip the yellow onion and make the Pikmin not count somehow? The goal is to just get the end screen number as low as possible, so what if we just don't save the yellow onion? My next idea is to see what happens if I don't activate the yellow onion at all, but I leave the 3 yellow Pikmin in the ground. If these Pikmin don't count, then I've effectively reduced the amount of Pikmin down to at least 39. So with my plan in tow, I did the Distant Tundra again, which was exactly the same as last time. But when I ended the day and looked at the end screen, holy shit, the yellow Pikmin didn't count. I mean, the yellows I had all died, but they didn't count. This is huge. Now the next thing to do is find a way to make these 20 yellows survive. My idea is that since there are 4 red candy pop buds around the map, each able to turn 5 yellows into red, we'll be able to candy pop 20 yellow Pikmin back into red Pikmin. This is perfect. The only problem is 3 of them are all the way back at Brittany's second envelope boat on this ledge, which you can't really get over, but the 4th is right next to the exit by these pyroclasmic slooches. You would need to do some precise timings to get to Brittany's cave in time and candy pop the Pikmin though. Here's the new plan. Save as much time on the Fozbat fight as possible. This will be really tight, but a good understanding of the boss makes this so much easier. So here's what I know. First thing is that after the first cycle when turning on the car battery, the Fozbat will always run towards the cave exit. If you whistle off 10 yellows and get them to the light right on your left in time, you can knock him back down immediately and do the second cycle quickly. After that, you need to manipulate his patterns. There are 4 states the boss can be in: attackable, on a wall, attacking, or flying around. When he is attacking, you can consistently get him to fall down and become attackable by just tossing a few Pikmin on his back. When he's on the wall, you can get him to enter his attacking state by tossing a few rocks on his back. Whenever he is flying around, you can get him to shake and enter this attacking state by tossing some yellow Pikmin onto his back. If you don't do this in time, he will cling onto a wall and you'll lose more time. You can tell he's in his flying state whenever his flying is shaky, in comparison to his attacking state when it's more balanced and precise. After the fight, you toss 5 yellow Pikmin and the captain off to the side to candy pop 5 yellows into reds. Then you take the other 2 captains back where you toss Pikmin over to Brittany and go back into the cave. Sometimes Pikmin can get stuck on this wall and you'll have to come back for them at the end of the day. If a yellow gets stuck, good luck? But aside from that, toss our yellows onto this ledge to get to the Shaggy Longlegs room, and do this wall running skip to get out of bounds, and then take your Pikmin to the boss arena. Candy pop your yellows and then end the day. This looks easy, but it took me 30 minutes of attempts to finally get a good run. What I saw was shocking. Yes, I did lose a Pikmin to the boss, but I couldn't care less at this point. It's finally done, I have proof that this works. And we can save 3 Pikmin off of this counter. Holy shit! Why did I put myself through that? Well, I'd have to do this entire day one more time and it was already 3 AM, so I decided to head to bed. I woke up the next morning, but I had a dream. What if I candy pop yellow Pikmin into yellow Pikmin? 3 Pikmin stayed in the ground and they didn't count, so what if I can do that to some of my yellows? I ran the route and I did everything perfectly. And when I went to candy pop my yellows, this happened. Oh, my Wii Remote died. No, I wish there was a warning telling me my Wii Remote's batteries were low. Oh. Oh no. This is horrendous. I'll be real honest, I never knew until this moment right here that candy pops don't despawn when they're in this light. This means we can reduce our yellow count down to 0. Not only that, but reduce the total. We saved 20 Pikmin and brought our total down to 8. Although it's more like 10 because we'll need 10 for the next day, but as stated before, the goal is to reduce the end screen counter as much as possible, so if this works, we're going to day 4 with 8 Pikmin. I know this is now kind of a there is no yellow Pikmin in Bossing Say kind of situation, but this changes everything, both in a good way and a bad way. Let me explain. The 8 Pikmin we have isn't enough to finish the next area, as before mentioned, so I have to grow an additional 2 Pikmin at the start of the day so I can carry home the phone. But that's not the point. The point is, we have to beat the game with 4 reds and 6 rocks. This makes days that were easy with 31 to 42 Pikmin, like days 5, 6, and 7, incredibly hard, as we will end up doing them with 10, 20, and 21 Pikmin. There's no room for error, and little did I know, everything was about to get so much harder.
Day 4 is interesting. Why? Well, it's really fucking hard, that's why. I kid you not, it took me 50 minutes of attempts to finally be done with a 10 Pikmin day 4. This was so torturous, I wouldn't even want to force my enemies into doing this. But I digress. Let's get into why this is so hard. Well, completing an entire area, its main boss, and bringing back the folded data glutton is really hard when you only have 10 Pikmin in 13 minutes of a day. Not only is the boss fight really long and really tight, but you need plenty of time at the end of the day so that way you don't run out with your Pikmin coming back home as slow as fucking molasses. Here's what I had to do. I got 2 extra red Pikmin at the start so that way I could carry home the folded data glutton. Then, I got all of the Pikmin and started digging up bomb rocks. Here we get introduced to another cool glitch, bomb rock duplication. With the power of whistling out a Pikmin as a bomb comes out and then putting a Pikmin back in, we can simulate what it would be like for World War III to occur over the likes of the tropical wilds. We duplicate 19 bomb rocks and then go over to this cove with Charlie and another captain. With the power of Charlie's unnecessarily large body and long arms, we can drop kick a captain out of bounds like a football. This lets the captain respawn up on a carry node, which saves time of having to break down this wall and build a bridge. Before continuing, we will need to deload an invisible wall by walking over this way towards this pebble. Continuing on, this isn't Pikmin 1, so we can't toss our stealth bombers up on this ledge as they are too stealthy and will blow each other up. So we need to situate our captains by this bag and perform a long whistle trick by whistling the Pikmin with our captain and walking through a loading zone. This will teleport the captains and the Pikmin towards us without the need of throwing them. Now it's time for the boss fight, the sand-belching mirror slug. The strategy is to stall when the boss goes up and then toss 2 bombs inside of his mouth whenever he goes down. The start of the fight is always consistent as he'll always end up going down, but the rest of the fight is RNG whether he'll go up or down. Whenever he gets to the last portion of his health, he'll do this large spiral attack and then go down. This you just treat the exact same as you do the other attacks. Finish off the fight with good RNG and then you should have enough time to carry home the folded data glutton. Only 10 Pikmin so far. You seem to be doing great. Now, how bad can day 5 possibly be? Horrible. This day is absolutely horrible. The next area for us to complete is the Twilight River. Normally what we have to do is we have to build this long blue bridge from 3 separate bridge piece piles. This will let us cross over towards the wing Pikmin onion. From here, we can save the wing onion and then grow 10 Pikmin so that way we can pull this route up and continue on to the second half of the area. In this second half of the area, there's another bridge with 3 piles. After you build this, you can continue on to the Scornet Maestro fight and then bring back Louis, and that's the end of the day. Can you guess why this day took me so many attempts? If you said because I kept running out of time, you're correct! This day is so tight that I barely have enough time to do everything. In fact, my first attempt failed because I didn't have enough time. Maybe I would have, but I had one Pikmin lost and I couldn't find it, and losing a Pikmin in this run is devastating, so I decided to try again. But if this is so tight, how do I manage to get this close on the first attempt? Well, my friend, I'm glad you asked. We start off by tossing Brittany and Charlie off to the side. Then we perform early Wing Onion by holding directly right while against this corner. From here, we can have Alf drown all of our Pikmin. What? It's fine. They know how to swim. From here, we can have Alf clip in, and then we can break free the Wing Onion from the Arachnode Web. Growing 10 wings, pull this twig, and then toss your wings off towards this side so we can charge them onto the paper bag. You may be wondering, hey Jinx, why are you pulling this twig if it only lets down the lily pads and you never use them? Well, that's because pulling this twig is a flag. It changes the state of the game, which is required to move on. There are invisible walls everywhere which prevent you from moving forward, and progressing the game's flags like this deloads these invisible walls, which lets you continue on. From here, we can take all of our Pikmin around this wall, go towards this bag off to the side, and then push it down. This is a fast shortcut back to base which we will be using. But it also gives us access to these bomb rocks just across the water. We can get to these bomb rocks by tossing 2 captains onto this ledge and tossing the other onto this dead tree. Giving them a few wings, we can go up and grab these bomb rocks, which helps us break down this reinforced wall, and then break down this dirt wall. We break down this reinforced wall so we can have our 4 red Pikmin farm ultra spicy sprays the entire day. It is a lot more efficient because they have a much shorter path back to the burgeoning Spiderwort, and these spicy sprays are very important for the end of the game. From here, we can toss 2 captains onto this route, and then toss the other captain back onto this ledge. With holding a precise angle and changing it between a few other angles in the middle of the clip, we can walk clean through this wall and fall out of bounds, letting us respawn back on top of this route, which skips the bridge and lets us move on to the boss fight. From here, we can position the other captains off to the side and then long whistle them into this loading zone, teleporting them and the Pikmin to us. From here, we can fight the Scornet Maestro. This boss can be pretty annoying or difficult on a casual playthrough, but with one exploit, the entire fight is trivialized. Toss 1 or 2 captains onto the side, switch them, and wait for the Maestro to attack. Once it starts its attack, switch to the captain with the Pikmin, and then charge after he's done attacking. Doing this for every single phase ensures you will not lose any Pikmin. But just because this fight is done, no, that doesn't mean we're home free. Oh, no. We still have Louis Clip. Louis Clip is probably the worst clip in the entire fucking game. It's not only the worst clip, but the worst trick in the entirety of Pikmin 3. Why? Well, what you have to do is, since I skipped building this red bridge, we have to clip Louis through this invisible wall. We do that by bashing him into it over and over again until he eventually gets through. While there are a few ways to make this more consistent, it is heavily based on RNG, and I've lost way too many speedruns and attempts in this challenge run to it. This took me an hour and a half of failing and getting so close on my first attempt to be able to finish it. But in the end, I was able to complete the area, save Louis, and get a potion in the process. Almost a second one, too. Now, what else is there to do except move on to day 6? Day 6 is actually relatively hard, and that's entirely because of the Quaggled Myreclops. Having only 15 Pikmin that can actually safely damage the feet is really hard because you can't one-cycle the foot. Instead, you have to whistle off the Pikmin before he shakes them off. When he shakes them off, he can step on them, which is basically an instant kill even to the wing Pikmin. But the strats for this fight are simple. Find the front of the boss and follow it. From that point, stay diagonal from the direction that he is moving, which keeps you safe in the instance that he rotates or walks forward. Then, toss Pikmin at his foot like so. Once he is about to hit the ground on his second step, make sure to whistle the Pikmin off of his foot. It's really hard because this is the only attack in the game which can crush wing Pikmin, and the only attack which instantly crushes rock Pikmin too. Because of the water, it instantly kills them too. No whistling the rocks or wings out of the water, and on top of that, the Quaggled Myreclops is a fat fuck. So when he sits, he leaves a giant imprint which can drown Pikmin easily when he scatters them everywhere. Once you get him to be vulnerable by attacking the feet, you can charge everyone except your rocks at him the moment after he starts his tongue attack. And make sure to whistle everybody off when the attack ends. This is because the shake attack can scatter Pikmin everywhere, even the wing Pikmin that aren't on him. And when he shakes them off, that has a high risk of drowning them, which makes you have to restart the day. Once the attack ends, you can wait for him to send out another tongue attack, or wait and do an extra cycle. On the last phase, you can use a potion to finish him off faster by doubling the Pikmin damage. I wouldn't potion before the last phase because if Pikmin get in the water, there's hardly any chance of saving them. This is because the way a potion doubles damage is weird. It doesn't double the attack damage, rather it doubles the animation speed of the Pikmin. This makes them attack faster, carry things faster, and even drown faster. Another thing to note is that even after the potion's effects wear off, they still keep that speed until their animation switches. So they will carry things faster, attack faster, and even drown faster. So you need to be careful with potions. But aside from the boss, this area is relatively easy. Just take care of this wall and do this clip to get Alf across to the other side without the bridge. This skips having to build the pot and skips building the blue bridge. The only thing important to mention here is that we are required to really. The only thing important to mention here is that we are required to grow one blue Pikmin. Otherwise, there will be invisible walls blocking the way. And even then, there is still the loading zone which we can't access without loading it in by unlocking blue Pikmin. After all of this, we can finally take Louie home and make sure the Pikmin are safe by baiting out the peckish aristocrat. Then, once we get Louie home, we can end the day and head on to Day 7, the finale. Day 7 is a notoriously linear and easy day in speedruns. It's just go through the Formidable Oak in this one linear path and then defeat the Plasma Wraith. There isn't much that can differentiate it and make it too hard, right? Well, that's what I thought. I spent 6 real-life days on just the Formidable Oak, and a total of 6 2 to 3 hour recordings. This was fucking torture. But how so? Well, with the way the Formidable Oak works, there are 2 parts, the chase sequence and the final fight. The chase sequence can be split into 2 segments, the combat portion and the puzzle portion. How the chase works is you have a few Pikmin carrying Olimar the entire time, which these Pikmin will follow Brittany. And then with the other captains, you clear a path for Brittany to get through while protecting Olimar from the Plasma Wraith. But the thing is, doing the entire Formidable Oak with basically only 14 Pikmin is really fucking hard. This section is very tight, and I routed and optimized this myself. What you have to do is make sure you put 5 of any type of Pikmin on Olimar except wings. Then, enter the cave. Run to this bag with Brittany and toss her to the side and use this trick to get your 10 wings behind the bag so they can push it down. From here, you can put 8 wings onto Olimar, then take the rest of the Pikmin. It is very important that you use specifically 8 wings. Then, you can toss your blue onto these eggs to make sure it is floured. This also gives you a chance at getting a potion. Continue on and break this crystal with your rocks and dismiss your Pikmin on the bridge parts. It's also helpful to use Charlie as a co-pilot meat shield on this blowhog so none of your Pikmin die to fire. From here, move Brittany over onto this ledge, then grab your blue and any potions you may have gotten. Then toss your blue onto these fragments and make sure to grab all the fragment pieces except for at most 4. Once Brittany reaches her destination, you can drop her off of the ledge and then bring her over to Alf. With Alf, grab Charlie, who is actively burning to death, and toss all of your Pikmin and then kill this arachnid, tossing all 6 of your rocks. It is important that you toss all 6 and not 3. Whistle the rocks back so they go under the bridge and toss Charlie over. Then you can switch over to Brittany so that way you can safely navigate Olimar over by keeping Olimar very close to Brittany. By keeping Olimar very close to Brittany, he will always take the shortest path towards Brittany rather than a set route on carry nodes. This is really useful for saving time by taking the fastest path, and it also prevents the wings from taking a path that goes straight to enemies. Once you bring Brittany over towards Alf, you can toss Brittany across the bridge and then guide Alf towards this crystal wall with all the Pikmin except for the 8 wings left with Brittany. Toss the 6 rocks onto this wall, and now we can continue on to the second half. With Brittany and Charlie, make them use Go Here so that we can get to these bridge fragments. Switch over to Alf and finish breaking down this wall. Then, kill these 4 Shearwigs, toss 3 reds onto the Candy Pop Bud, and toss 2 wings into the Candy Pop with them. Then, toss your rocks into this dirt pile to get 4 bomb rocks. Back with Charlie and Brittany, whistle off 8 wings and toss them onto this clipboard which requires exactly 8 wing Pikmin, not charging because they can get stuck. Then, whistle them off and put them back on Olimar. Once they are on him, walk into this corner with Brittany and Charlie's hand and aim at this specific texture and then tap the whistle button to knock her out of bounds. Dismiss to make her go fully out of bounds. From here, she will spawn next to the clipboard. Walk the Pikmin over towards these Candy Pop Buds and turn 5 wings into rocks and 2 wings into blues. From here, pluck all of the Pikmin and get all of your blues, rocks, and wings onto Olimar. Then head towards the exit, and we are now done with the chase sequence. From here, it's time to do the boss fight. You may be wondering, Jinx, why the hell do you need so many rock Pikmin? Well, to that, I have an answer. The boss's most lethal attack is his piercing attack, which has no way to be avoided except for just not being near the boss. It can be extremely devastating with any type other than rocks. Rock Pikmin are immune to this piercing attack. Now on to the fight. The way this boss works is it spits out elemental plasms for you to attack and break. Once these break, you can destroy the goo, which prevents the boss from sucking it back up. Doing this over and over, you can slowly chip down his health until he can't recover and eventually dies. Rock Pikmin are the only Pikmin which can damage and destroy all of these elemental hazards, except for the water attack. This is why I wanted some blue Pikmin. The strategy is to stay incredibly aggressive and then keep the blues away from his flying and piercing attack. When he is on the ground, keep them on his body as this piercing attack can't hit the Pikmin when they're on his head or body. A few things to note about the fight is that his flying piercing attack will end sooner if you have all of your Pikmin far enough away from him, including your rocks. Another thing is that this electric attack needs to be attacked almost perfectly before the nucleus gets covered. You also need to be perfect with breaking the stuff that falls off of him before he sucks it back up. Lastly, use the bombs we got earlier and potion your Pikmin so that way we can end the first phase as soon as possible. You can use another potion on the final phase to maximize damage. All of this with 16 rocks and 3 blue Pikmin in just about 7 minutes. Now let's recap and see why all of this is so fucking hard. You have to basically be doing perfect movement in the first portion so that we can get this back pushed down while navigating Olimar away from the Plasm Wraith and optimizing your go here uses so everything lines up perfectly. Along with some really difficult throws, tight management, and precise movement with the aspect of doing all of this deathless. Then, we go into a boss fight which is really hard because not only do you have so few Pikmin and so little time to beat the fight, but it's a boss with no stagger and really precise aiming, reaction, timing, and cycle manipulation and management. Ladies, gentlemen, and other miscellaneous human beings, welcome to the Mindfuck! Finally, after 6 real-life days and hours on hours of footage, I was finally able to get the God Run. Finally did it. Finally, after all of this fucking time, all of these fails, all of the suffering through this bullshit day, it is finally over. I can finally fucking sleep. What? Wait. Why is the video not over? Wait, what? No. Wait, a minute, no. This isn't supposed to happen. Wait, what? Why is there a yellow Pikmin? There isn't supposed to be a yellow Pikmin here. That's not possible. How is there a yellow Pikmin here? I never got a yellow Pikmin. Why are there 3 yellow Pikmin? What in the fuck is going on? I never got any yellows out. This is bullshit. I plead the fucking 5th. I end up looking back through the footage to see what I could have possibly done. I find that the reason all of this happened was back on day 6 because I accidentally tapped the Z button on my fucking controller. Holy shit. That means I have to do the hardest day of the run again and redo another really fucking tight boss fight. Honestly, this is where I gave up. And this was where I was going to end it. And I just end the video here on a technicality of, well, you can. It's proven possible. But this glitch happened. I was absolutely fucking devastated. Around 20 hours on one portion of a run just for it to have failed because of something that happened much earlier. I was so upset about this. I don't even touch the challenge or even edit it for a whole 10 days. I just didn't want to think about it. But when I started editing this, I just thought to myself, you know what? Fuck it. Nobody else has made it this far in this challenge doing all of this work, and I'm not going to be the one to get this far and just give up. I got my ass back in the seat, turned on my failed Nintendo console from 2013, and got to work. Back on day 6, the route was the exact same. It was tedious, tight, hard, and annoying. What surprised me is not only did I get this really fast, I get it on my first fucking try. This was a huge mental boost. It made me want to get this challenge done. It made me feel like there was actually a point to going back and doing this. It was absolutely huge for me. So when I landed in day 7, I locked the fuck in. And on my first attempt, I had this. It's just so close, just a little bit more time, and I would have absolutely had this. This is fucking possible. And in a few attempts in, only about 40 minutes of recording, I was finally able to get the run I have been waiting for.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh.
It's finally done. The challenge has finally been completed, and I can rest easy knowing that the Pikmin population is as high as that of Vatican City. The Copites have returned home with only 2 fruits, again starving their entire nation like I always make them do in speedruns. This challenge was really fun, and if people would like to see it, I would love to 100% the game like this. Should I? Well, we'll see. But for now, thank you for watching.